Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Hello. Today we are going to talk about, you can already see it, signs that can indicate fated connections in Synastry. I mean, this is what this channel is all about. I want to help you understand about your own twin flame journey or soulmate journey. I want to help you ascend, get you on the next level. And one major factor is, of course, understanding what we are dealing with. That's one big part of the astrology videos. And then, of course, don't forget to check out my coaching videos, my manifestation videos, where I talk about manifestation, because if you can dream it, you can live it. You can have it, otherwise you would not be able to vividly imagine your dream coming true. But let's jump right in. Yeah, signs that can indicate fated connections in Synastry. And we do have a list of those. So if you're wondering why the hell Neptune on the 12th house is at the very bottom, stay tuned. We're going to talk about all of these. But you already see the list. Of course, the nodes, the north or the south nodes are very important. And I already opened only 3 charts. This would be Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. And then here we do have Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Those are the 2 readings that got me most excited, to be honest. Especially this one. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle had some, wow, some surprising reveals, I want to say. So check it out. I don't know if you're going to see this before I'm going to publish the other reading, but subscribe so you won't miss it. But again, let's jump right in. So the nodes. Nodes are, you can see it's this little symbol here. We do have, each of us has 2 nodes, the north node and the south node. In the medieval times, they were known as the dragon's head and the dragon's tail. Those are mathematical points, so they're not really up there sung around in the skies. It is strictly mathematical. However, they were already known in the medieval times and before that. Why do I know that? Because I do study medieval literature at the university, and I actually specialized on medieval text about astrology and magic. So that is what I do in my master's degree. So again, we do have the nodes. The outer ones would be Ben Affleck's and the blue ones would be Jennifer Lopez. And as we do see here, they're not connected. You see the nodes, they don't form any signs. You can also tell about the little blue line here that's not forming any line to another one, nor does her south node. He doesn't have anything around it to touch it. They do have this connection between his north node and her point of fortune that we can discard in soulmates and twin flame readings. The point of fortune is more telling us about the way we make money. If we ever happen to gain riches, then how would we do it? And mine actually really pissed me off, to be honest, because mine is in the 7th house. So how do I most likely get rich? Marriage. I would have liked it more in a house that where I would do it myself. But we do have, wait, that is Meghan and Harry. Let's check. I was saying Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. No. The blue one would be Meghan, sorry. And the orange is Prince Harry. They don't have any nodes contact, but that is okay. We still have other aspects to cover. So you don't have to have, sorry, that's the wrong one. You don't have to have all of these to make it a fated connection. It is just the more you have, the more fated it is, the stronger the connection can be. Okay, when it comes to fate, you may have a very, very strong soul bond either way. We do see strong soul bonds when they have a lot of contact, a lot of those lines here, or a lot of contact here between personal planets, not so much the generational. We want to look at personal planets, and that can indicate a very strong connection. However, we're talking about divine counterparts, about very fated connections, and we all know twin flames, for example, are extremely divinely guided, extremely fated, and so we have to check out these. Okay, and sorry, I keep on clicking on Excel. I want to click on Word. So the more you have, the stronger or the more fated the connection is. And again, like true twin flames, and I'm talking about monadic, split twin flames also will have several of these, of course, but monadic twin flames probably really like all of these, since those are extremely fated. So don't worry if you met the love of your life and you don't have these. That more means like you maybe manifested them, or you chose this timeline. It just will show you it's not, when it comes to the metaphysical, a strong connection. However, you want to discern, it can be still the love of your life, and you have a very strong bond when it comes to the earthly realms, because maybe you have a very lovely Venus connection and amazing stuff going on. Okay, here we're talking really more about fate, like the high level soul connections. So the notes, again, this is, now we are talking about Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, and if I'm not mistaken, who's Ben Affleck? Ben is orange and Jennifer would be blue. Check out their note. Let's check out their notes. Okay, where is this one? This one is at 24 degree in Cancer, and her sun is at 1 degree. Okay, that is still a weak connection here. You see his north node is unattended. There's nothing doing there, where her notes, let's check, her notes must be very close to his, right? They were, no, hers is here. It doesn't do anything, and nor does the south node. Unfortunately, I failed to pick a chart that would show you a connection, but again, I didn't want to open like 20,000 different charts here. That would get a little bit confusing. However, if you have a connection between your either south node or north node, or your person's south or north node with one of your personal planets, personal, I mean especially the moon, the sun, and Venus, since we're talking about love. Mars could talk about the sexual chemistry, yes, and Mercury about you have a very similar way of thinking, or you transcend the other person's way of thinking. Okay, but when it comes to love, you want to have sun, moon, or Venus in conjunction with the other person's nodes. Saturn actually could be something that is positive as well. If it's a healthy Saturn, which means it's not blocked by squares, then it could be an amazing thing, because that means that it is someone you can have a very long-lasting relationship. But we want to check the personal planets first. And when it's the south node, I mean, when we still hold on to the concept of past lives, and it makes it easier to explain, even though there are no past lives, because time does not exist, which means past lives do not exist. It is just another now moment and another stream of consciousness that you might be strongly connected to, is having that experience in a past or future life. And it's not really it's, well, since we are all connected, it is part of you as well, of course. It is part of every being on this planet. But a south node connection would indicate, if we hold on to the concept of past life, but again, it makes it easier to explain, that you knew this person from a past life. You have this instant recognition, you feel at home with them, you feel a sense of familiarity. And some astrologers say south node connections are not very good because they might be holding you back. I somewhat agree. Let's say you would have a connection between your south node and the other person's Venus, and that Venus has a square to either one of your personal planets, or it is a person that has a square, Venus square, in their own personal chart, and they're not very mature. If they are mature, if they have cleared that square, that would be another thing, then it could be a good thing. However, if you would have a connection between the south node that is forming a square to another personal planet not very good, okay? Because squares can indicate karma, and then it can be somebody who is holding you back. However, if you have a positive connection, imagine more you meet someone from the past and you can go together to the future, and that is where the North Node is. The North Node is indicating our destiny. We have Dharma, the past, karma. Karma is the past and Dharma is the future. Karma is nothing negative. Don't be scared of that word. It can indicate something that is not healed, or just can indicate just simply past. And Dharma is our destiny. So it's where we're coming from and where we're going to. So check out your notes in your personal chart, because the house and the sign is very important. To read both at the same time can tell you something very amazing. And this is basically what freaked me out about Prince Harry's and Meghan's reading, because he's got the South Node in the 10th house going to the 4th, and it seems like leaving his old life, his responsibilities, was absolutely fated for him. And check out that entire reading. It kind of like blew my mind. But let's get back here. So don't be scared about South Node connections. They can be an amazing thing. Just again, picture like you meet someone from your past. You're happy to see them again. You feel comfortable with them. If there is a square, maybe you're not that happy. Maybe it's a person that did not do you good. But with a positive connection, if there is a conjunction or a trine, something like that, it's just an amazing thing, and you can go to the future together. It does not mean that you can't take them into your future. It absolutely does. If you have a connection between you and your person's North Node, however, that would indicate a bit of destiny, because again, the nodes are connected to fate and where we want to go, basically. Again, Dharma, we want to get from here to there. But one thing again is important for me when we're talking about nodes. Some people say, some astrologers say, this is like your past and you need to leave it behind. I absolutely disagree. This is your past where you learn your stuff from, and you get your traits and you take them to your future. For example, I have the South Node in the 8th house, which is the house of occult, of astrology as well, of deep hidden knowledge. And people with the South Node in the 8th house, they are born with this inner occult or spiritual knowledge, very connected, and it is going to the 2nd house. The 2nd house can be self-worth, but also money. So in this combination is you get this spiritual gift, 8th house, and you take your gift, you take what you have, and you use it and bring it to your Dharma, and you can use your gifts to, in my case, my spiritual work helped me with my self-worth, healing my self-worth issues, for example. This is where I learned it. It's the shadow work. I did the shadow work and went into my own love for myself, but also I am using my spiritual gifts, of course, to finance my income, to make my income, because I have been working as a coach since I was in my early 20s. Now I'm at the end of my 30s. So it's not like something you need to leave behind. Very important. Some people, unfortunately, completely misunderstand it. It is your gift. It is your talents. It's what you brought to this world, to use it actually to fulfill your destiny. Okay? So if you have a connection between a personal planet, again, when we're talking about love, Sun, Moon, Venus, or maybe Saturn. Again, Saturn can talk about someone who is going to be stable in your life. But we don't want a square when it comes to Saturn. Saturn is not very good, like a Saturn square, because then it is again karma and it is blocking you. Pluto as well, by the way. I want to throw Pluto in here as well with the notes. Pluto is transformation. It is doing the shadow work. It is healing. So if you have a Pluto contact, it can be either very karmic or very transformative, depending, of course, how you use this energy. And again, how is Pluto connected? If it's a square, not so good. If it's a positive connection, very good. That Pluto itself, does it have a negative connection to another planet? Not as good. Does it have positive aspects to other planets? Good, healthy Pluto, and then it's a good thing. So yeah, the north nodes or the south nodes, both of them can indicate some kind of destiny. Okay, so because it reminds you of a past life, familiarity takes you to your future, helps you to evolve to the person you want to be. And that is what I thought was absolutely amazing with them, even though it's not connected to a personal planet. So for me, it always looked like it was fated that he would leave the structure. Talking about Prince Harry leaving the structure, the 10th house can be connected to like kingdom, because it's how you're seen, but also it's Capricorn energy. It can be a ruler, however not in a very healthy, it's talking about authority. And of course he was born in a very authoritative system where it was always his destiny to break out, and I mean she did help him with that, obviously. So again, check out the entire reading. I was like really amazed. So let's step to the next one, Pluto. I already mentioned Pluto. I know Pluto can be a bit of a bad boy. I'm a fan of the bad boys in astrology. Pluto, Saturn, Uranus. But I do have strong Scorpio energy. I do have strong Aquarius energy. And Aquarius is connected to Uranus, of course, and Saturn. So I naturally do feel drawn to this energy. If you use it right, Pluto is connected very much to our own healing and transforming. Pluto is black or white. So if you have a Pluto connection with someone, it can be your worst enemy or love of your life. And of course that could be like in a friendship as well. You can absolutely love and adore your bestie, right? So Pluto gives you the ability to grow. And it can be a highly toxic connection if you have negative Pluto aspects, especially the square. If you have the opposition, then it would be like always growing, always like your entire life with this person would be constant, like the phoenix burning down and regrowing, or until you get out of the relationship. So Pluto connections, and again we're talking about Sun, Moon, Venus, could be love at first sight. You feel the sense of fate because Pluto is connected to the 8th house, and I told you already the 8th house is connected to past lives, to the deepest possible emotions. You know, Pisces energy is very scattered. Pisces is very emotional but scattered. Cancer is very emotional but most likely towards to their group, you know, like their circle. And Scorpio is very on point, very deep. It's very fixed. Scorpio doesn't love many people, but those they do love, they love with all they've got, you could say. And so Scorpio is the biggest emotional, like Scorpio 8th house, Pluto is our deepest emotions, our hidden fears. It's similar to the moon. It's what we don't like to show. It's where we are vulnerable, maybe where we were hurt. It can be connected to trauma, of course. It can be connected to our hidden fears, negative things we have experienced, of course. And then when we have a connection, and sorry, before I forgot another one. Sorry, we need to talk about Chiron. So where we were healing, or where we were hurt, and a Pluto connection as well as the 8th house connection can absolutely transform you. But again, Pluto is black or white. So if you have a negative Pluto connection, or you have, for example, a conjunction usually would be seen as a positive aspect. It's a very strong aspect, but imagine you have a bad connection between Pluto forming a square to another planet, especially if it's a personal one, and then that is connected to one of your more sensitive planets. That can be trauma bonding, it can be huge chaos, it can be very painful, it can be very toxic. Okay, so Pluto really is a double-edged sword. And still, to me, a sign of a soulmate. A soulmate does not always have to be absolutely harmonious. A soulmate is, we have many soulmates. A soulmate is any person that has a strong effect on you, and that could be positive or negative. So if they trigger you like crazy, and you attracted them to do that, it's not their fault. You attracted someone to show you where your shadows are so you can do the work. So it's never the other person's fault. You attracted them, okay? And if we attract somebody where we have a harsh Pluto placement, that just shows karma. It shows that there's something that is not healed. And again, you that's usually the connections where you are not happy at all. Your triggers are like the love-hate relationships, because you have this very deep emotional bonds with Pluto. Very deep emotional, probably very early on, probably something like love or attraction at first sight. It is going off the ground probably very soon, or it's not going off the ground if that is what your inner fear is, and then that triggers you like crazy. By going off the ground, I mean your emotions probably go from 0 to 100 when you meet them. You instantly feel something. Pluto contacts can feel like soul recognition, and that is something, for example, if many people think there's like the celebrities they never ever met are their twin flames and stuff like that. That could be like a Pluto connection. You feel something, they don't even know you exist, but you feel something and it triggers something inside of you, and that of course can be absolutely mistaken for some people that are not very evolved spiritually as a twin flame thing. So Pluto, instant recognition, instant attraction. They do something, they wake what has been hidden deep inside of you. So a Pluto connection can be a catalyst, and a catalyst can be a good thing. I have recorded videos about my own personal catalyst experience. There was nothing toxic going on. There was of course ghosting, because that was my wound, but nothing like any kind of abuse at all. But also it can be a beautiful thing, and when it's a beautiful, Pluto is also connected to the phoenix. You burn down your old inner wounds, your old inner fears, and you ascend. If you use this energy right, if you have a positive Pluto connection, because then you have the love at first sight, the instant attraction, the instant feeling of a soul bond. But it is easy. You still probably do shadow work, because that's Pluto. You still heal and ascend, okay? But it's not in a like toxic way. It's not as difficult. And soulmates can have this placement. Twin flames most likely will, because what is a twin flame connection? It's there to absolutely heal all of your shadows, all of your inner wounds, and that is not happening in a toxic way. Like if you attracted a person and they're toxic, they're abusing you verbally, emotionally, physically, it's not a twin flame, okay? You cannot attract a twin flame if you still have that strong shadows inside of you, that you would attract somebody who would do that something like that to you, okay? It's not if there's any form of abuse, it's not a twin flame, and period. I stand by that. It's not. It's trauma bonding, okay? It's not a twin flame. And hate me if you hear me say that, it's fine. You may have a Pluto connection that's triggering some kind of awakening. But again, in a twin flame or a high level soulmate connection, it's not easy, because dealing with your shadows is not easy. But it's not because they abuse you, okay? It's because maybe you still have fear of abandonment and they don't reach out, for example. That could be that wound. Or you still have, like, you don't feel worthy and they don't shower you with affection, for example, to show you, yeah, you are, because you have to heal it in yourself first. Or it could be like, I did a video where I used the example, like, it's just an example, that is nothing that happened to me, but imagine you were abused by someone who has red hair, and I kind of like red hair, so red-haired people, ginger people, sorry, I don't mean to say you're bad people. I'm just using this example because red hair is not that often, okay? If you were abused by like a blonde person, and you see a lot of blonde people, but let's say you were abused by somebody who has a very specific trait. Let's just use red hair, and then you meet your twin flame and they have red hair, and then That's nothing they do to you. It just, you get triggered by that. Okay, so there is something you have to heal, because you're confronted with something you always try to avoid. And again, there's nothing toxic about having red hair, or let's say you were attacked by a dog and they have that specific kind of dog, the specific breed, and now you're forced to heal that wound. Again, that's nothing toxic. That's nothing they do to you. A twin flame would not do things to you. That's the major difference that many people absolutely misunderstand and falsely label someone a twin flame just because it's toxic or on, off, not a twin flame. So, of course, when you have a Pluto connection, you are forced to heal, you're forced to ascend, and a high-level soulmate, you most likely have a positive Pluto connection, okay? It's not one that has a lot of squares. The same thing is, of course, happening. Now I got the 8th house Synastry. We'll talk about that again. Vertex, very important one. Vertex, what is the vertex? We're not going into depth, but the vertex is connected to fate. And I like this sentence here. It's signaling events that happen to us through no effort or will of our own. So if you feel like a person is your twin flame and you have to chase them, or you think like, I don't know, again, this major celebrity that you never even encountered in your life is your twin flame. No, if it would be, then spirit would make sure that you actually meet them in real life, for example. But it is something you, for example, let's say you see someone and you're like, oh, they're nice, and you try to actively manifest them. That would not be that. Okay, you would meet them and something would awaken inside of you instantly. Okay, you'd be. That's why many people say when they're meeting twin flames, they were completely surprised. They were not looking, and it just absolutely came. And often it is situations that were absolutely fated and kind of like extraordinary. Something you would never even have guessed is happening, and yeah, it is, because it is fated, it is happening. It's not nothing you created. I mean, of course, on the soul level, we create everything, but that template has been created before you met, and hence you do have the vertex connection. And yeah, here we have destiny, fate, encounters, karma, wish fulfillment are all words that are strongly related to the vertex. Karma, I don't see karma as a bad thing. Imagine if you have always given too much of yourself, and then you came into your self-love. That is what you've sent out. You can finally get back. But of course, you cannot get back love if you always put yourself last, but karma can be a good thing. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. Those are all strongly related to the vertex and should give you a good sense as to what the vertex is all about. When your vertex is on the same planet or house as another person's, it reveals attraction. So vertex is something that can talk about it. It's literally fate. You see the vertex here is the little VX, and the vertex, again, it's nothing like an asteroid. It's like the rising sign. It's a mathematical point. And these again are Jennifer Lopez and Min Garner. There's no vertex connection here, but look at that. That is a strong, let's get down here. What the hell did I just do? I'm sorry. I don't know what I wanted to get it bigger, but so they have the vertex and moon connection. That is fate. That is a fated meeting, 100%. They did not meet by chance. The first round, they were not able to ground it. Even if they don't stay together, whatever is happening now, it did not happen by chance. We see her moon is in Scorpio 25 degree, and his vertex is 25 degree. That's spot on. That is fate. That is destined. Okay? So you will, and the moon is the most important placement. It to me symbolizes kind of like our soul, our deep emotions. And a moon vertex connection, that's a strong one. That's a jackpot. Then we got Harry and Meghan. There's nothing happening with his vertex. Well, there might... It's not too far from the south node. It's his south node. The nodes are... It's her vertex is at 7 degree and the nodes at 0 degree. Yeah, that's still like a conjunction. So again, there is some aspect of fate going on here with those two. So in a high level soul connections, of course, you will have a vertex. Oh, sorry, I always said Sun, Moon, and Venus. Juno, of course, as well. We're going to talk about Juno next. Juno is the asteroid of your soulmate or your highest soul connections. You know, soulmate, twin flame, divine counterpart. I like to say divine counterpart always because it would include strong soulmate connections and twin flames and other... There's different forms of divine counterparts. Juno as well. Everything I said so far when I was talking about Sun, Moon, Venus, you can absolutely apply that to Juno. Okay, very important. So Vertex is talking about fated connections. Then we do have Juno. There it is. What is Juno? Juno is the asteroid of your soulmate. Yeah, Juno is an asteroid that has the influence similar to Venus. Juno rules the soulmates, and again, including twin flames or any kind of divine counterpart, derive marriage and commitment. In the natal birth chart, it indicates what we are looking for in a mate or marriage partner. I don't agree with this 100%. I don't agree with this because what we are looking for is shown by our Mars and Jupiter signs if we are females, and when we are males, it is connected to our Venus and Moon sign. So I don't, because it doesn't show us what we are looking for. It shows us what is more like fated if we do have a divine counterpart. What type of marriage partner we need and who we will attract. That is the key word. Who will we attract? Most importantly, who is our divine counterpart? Okay? And very often you will see that one person's Juno is in the sign of the other person's like sun or moon, or they have that energy strong. For example, I am a Virgo sun. My twin flame has Juno in Virgo. However, this is not a necessity. We do have this placement. Many have this, like the twin flames would have that. At least one of them would have the energy strong of the other person. But for example, my Juno is in Sagittarius and my twin flame is not a Sagittarius. He doesn't have, I don't believe, any Jupiter, I believe, in Sagittarius. But besides that, he doesn't have any personal planet in Sagittarius or a strong 9th house. But still, this applies, even though he's not a Sagittarius, because your soulmate could be a different religion, cultural background, or maybe a foreigner or come from another country. Yes, we do come from different continents. He or she could be famous and have a talent for writing, teaching, or education. You may follow this person to another country or travel extensively to find him, her. This 100%, well, almost 100, he's not into teaching and education, but otherwise this 100% shows my twin flame. Okay, and every time we met in person, there was travel involved. Either he traveled or I traveled, or both of us traveled and met somewhere else. So again, it's not always showing you what it is. Look, with Ben Affleck, I believe, is it Ben Affleck? I don't know. Your soulmate, Juno in Libra, your soulmate could be beautiful, charming, and well-mannered. They don't have to be a Libra sign or a strong Libra to be attractive or charming or have good manners. Yeah, but again, your Juno is showing you who is your person. And it can be their sign, but it does not have to. Very important. Also, of course, very beautiful is any Juno in Synastry to have Juno connections. We do have here an asteroid connection. This would be again Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. Her Juno is not. When we talk about asteroids, we talk about a 2-degree orb. Okay, 2-degree orb. Orb is how many of those degree it is apart, asteroids no more than 2, maximum 3 degree, but usually not. Okay, so this Juno is unexpected, and well, his Juno is on her IC. Like kind of like, maybe she reminds me of his mom or something like that. But a beautiful Juno connection, or you Juno in the other person's 7th house, of course, would be a nice thing as well. I do have Juno, or you have Juno in your 7th house. I do have Juno in my 7th house, so it's not falling into his. But we do have this connection between Vertex and Juno. And of course, or is it Vertex? Vertex is pretty close by, and I think the point of fortune is like a complete like 0 degree orb. And if you have a Vertex Juno connection, that again is absolute jackpot. Vertex is talking, or nodes, Juno and nodes connection is even highlighting the fatedness. Okay, so Juno is your soulmate. It is not what you are into. That would again, if you are a woman, Mars, your Mars in your sign would show you what kind of guy you attract. Jupiter would basically show you what you would like when you're a little bit more mature. And for a man, it is Venus and the moon when he's a little bit more mature. Okay, so keep that in mind. Juno says more about the other person, not so much about you. Oh, again, I don't know why I keep doing that. Then Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer. So of course you want to have Chiron connections. No, Chiron is this little guy over here. And where is the blue one? Over there. Not having Chiron connections is completely fine. Okay, but if we again talk about what is a twin flame connection is about healing. It is about ascending. And so a Chiron connection, Chiron is the wounded healer. It shows us where we have wounds, and when we meet someone and we have Chiron connections, then we heal each other in that regard. For example, my twin flame and I, my Chiron is conjuncting, and Chiron asteroid, so no more than 2 degree orb. My Chiron is conjuncting his Venus and his Mercury, so there it brings healing and love for both of us, and also maybe in patterns of negative thinkings, or it brings us like a new way of thinking. So in twin flames you will have Chiron connections because it is a very healing connection. That is one of the soul purpose. You know, the union is purpose as well. It's the cherry on top, but it's the ascension that's the main focus first, and then union second. Okay, so a Chiron connection can also show you some sense of fatedness. You met each other in order to heal. It's not as dramatic as Pluto can be, but it's more like gentle, because again Chiron is the wounded healer, so they have been wounded themselves, so there's more sympathy. I know what you're going through. I have been through the same. I did one chart. I forgot who it was. Was it Jennifer Lopez with someone, or Ben Affleck with someone? I forgot, but we had the on-point Chiron connection, like Chiron conjunction, Chiron 0 degree orb, I believe, or 1 degree orb. And that, what I got there was kind of like trauma bonding. Usually I would not get that, but it was like, because I had other stuff in that chart too, but I immediately understood, yeah, we are connected because we have been through the same stuff. So Chiron, maybe a little bit of a double-edged sword, but it's not as I don't want to say it's not as bad as Pluto connections, because people who are around your age will have Pluto conjunctions. I would not give too much into that. I would more check what other connections does Pluto have and what house and so on. 7th and 8th house Synastry. 7th, not as much. I still wanted to include. I always say in soulmates, I love 1st, 2nd, 7th, and 8th house placements. The first is talking about attraction, but also about our self-worth when it comes to our physical body. So if we have someone's sun falling into the other person's first house, like being their personal cheerleader, so that can be very positive for any kind of connection, parent-child, best friends, teacher, students, like any kind of also romantic relationships, of course. And the second is connected to our self-worth. So having a healthy sun in somebody's second house can bring them self-worth. It can be the aspect of the muse, being someone's muse, but also being their cheerleader when it comes to the career or working together. The seventh house is literally the house of relationship. The second, so I like the Mars and the Venus houses best in romantic relationship. Okay, the Mars houses are the first and the eighth, and the Venus houses are the second and the seventh. And the seventh house is the house of relationship. So that by itself does say nothing about fate, but it can show that you may have a very beautiful connection if it is, again, a harmonious aspect that is falling into the seventh house. If you have something in someone's seventh house, or like let's say maybe you have your own Venus or Sun or Moon in your seventh house, that is forming a beautiful connection, let's say a trine to the other person's Sun, Moon, Venus, then of course that would be an amazing thing as well. The seventh house it's a very harmonious house, can talk about love and relationship. And the eighth house is the Scorpio house. It's talking about the deepest possible emotions, so either love of your life or enemy of your life, you could say. You have to make it work. It could be love, hate, love and hate at the same time. If it's like a toxic placement, if there is a square, you have, for example, what I have my moon in my twin flame seventh house, which is the house of relationship, and his moon is in my eighth, which is the Scorpio energy, the transforming, the accepting the other person as they are. It is feeling, you are evolving, but again, it's the deepest possible emotions that can go either way. But if you have somebody's placement there, especially like the moon is our most vulnerable placement, and then that is forming a square to another person's whatever, that could be something toxic, and then we would talk about a karmic relationship, not a high divine soul relationship. Okay, if it's more like a trine or flowing thing, it's a beautiful thing. Then we are talking about two more asteroids, Eros and Psyche. They want to be together since they're twin flames. You see, Eros and Psyche, they have it in, and this is Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez again. They have it in Gemini and Pisces, and Psyche in Aquarius and Virgo. What we want in a twin flame connection is either that one person's Eros and the other person's Psyche will form a conjunction or a trine or even a sextile. That would be amazing. What can be still, you can make it work if you have amazing other stuff, but with the opposition I always get like star-crossed lovers, because then they are the first apart even though they want to be together. But a conjunction between one person's Eros, the other person's Psyche is again jackpot. Talks about a high soul connection, or at least if they are in the same sign, then that can highlight that as well. But if you don't have all of these, again, don't worry about it, because there is more than one that can show you a fated connection. Okay, it's just the more you have, the more fated it is, the more high level soulmate it is. Saturn. Why do we talk about Saturn when we talk about fate? And I'm not talking about Saturn as the karmic aspect. Saturn can talk about karma. So yes, having a square between somebody's personal planet or Juno and the other person's Saturn can talk about something karmic, a karmic connection. But Saturn is important because Saturn is also the commitment. So that shows us that whatever we think we feel about this connection can be actually grounded if you met this person in real life. Okay, that's another thing. if you think somebody you never met in your life is your soulmate, your twin flame, because you saw them on TV and it did something to you, then it would be an ego thing, or it would be a catalyst. Because if you are somebody's divine counterpart, it is extremely fated, extremely guided. You will meet this person. And if you think some celebrity, for example, is your twin flame and you never met them, then it's not. Spirit would have made sure that you met them and that they recognized you as well, because twin flames are both recognize each other, even if there's separation after that, but the first moment it does something to both of them. So Saturn is talking about grounding it and having a long-lasting relationship. And you probably noticed that all of the videos on celebrity couples we did so far had Saturn connections. Saturn by itself does not mean that you stay together for the rest of your life. It does not. But it shows the possibility to form a long-lasting relationship. But I always say you have to put in the work. Saturn by itself shows a long-lasting relationship that has nothing about being happy in it. And you see people who stay in relationships even though they're just gotten used to each other, they're no longer happy. That could be a Saturn placement, like you have difficulties getting out of the relationship. So that by itself does not show do we have a happy relationship, but it shows you can it be grounded, can it stick, can it last. And if you make sure you are happy, then yes, it's a beautiful thing. So we want Saturn placements connected to somebody else's sun, moon, Venus, or Juno. Okay. Then we do have Neptune and Saturn. Okay, again we do have Saturn. Why? Because Neptune can indicate about a higher kind of love. It can give you the sense of belonging together. However, at the same time, Neptune is the planet of illusion. So you could think somebody is your person, but you're not seeing them the way they are. You're not seeing them straight. You are using the rose-colored glasses, or you're fooling yourself. Okay, so and the same is with this 12th house. If we have something in the other person's 12th house, like Ben Affleck has Venus in her 12th house, and that can talk about, it's either an affair, like a hidden love. It's especially if there's like 5th house placement as well, that can talk about being someone's mistress, for example. So that would be either like a hidden love or unrequited. Venus in the 12th house can be unrequited love, or Venus-Neptune's connections can be unrequited love, because you put somebody on a pedestal and it's an illusion. However, you see, her Venus is in his 12th house, conjuncting his Saturn. And that is where this one not the best thing by itself. However, if you would see they have, for example, Saturn connected to the moon, Saturn connected to the sun, then yes, then that would be good. Here it's Saturn and Venus in the 12th house. And this shows us, yes, it is this kind of like transcendental love, but it can be grounded. There is seriousness behind it. There is stability behind it. Because Saturn is a very dense planet. It's the opposite of being illusions. It's the polar opposite. So when we have 12th house, or the connections between, like down here we do have Neptune, that would say more like, it's an illusion if you have a strong Saturn placement as well. So the trine, the conjunction, positive Saturn. Again, if Saturn is blocked because it's forming a square to another personal planet, then it would highlight the illusion part, because you cannot ground this then. And they don't have it connected to another personal planet. So please always make sure when you have Neptune connections, don't think, oh, Neptune, great, this is transcendental love. You need to have Saturn as well. doesn't have to be connected to whatever is connected to the Neptune or whatever is in the 12th house like it is here. It does not have to be like that. Again, Saturn can be connected to your Juno, to your moon, to your sun, or in this case Venus. So please be careful here. So yeah, Saturn can be your friend. Well, that is all I have, and again, I was talking way too long. I hoped this wouldn't be like longer than 20 minutes. I am sorry, but I'd rather be known to be someone who is very thorough than somebody who is shallow. I don't do shallow. You don't get shallow stuff on my channel. You want to go deep. So yeah, that can indicated fated connections in Synastry. Again, I want to say about can, and I think I'm going to make a separate video about that. If you check your chart and compare to your favorite celebrity and you have these things, that does not mean it's a fated connection. It could mean it is somewhat fated that you feel attracted to them, that they do something to you, that you feel happy consuming their art. You know, if for example, you love a musician or an actor and you love their movies, you love their art and they enhancing your life, that is fate as well. You know, that is fate. Does not mean that that person is your divine counterpart. The fate aspect can come in they enhance your life through their art. If they would be your divine counterpart, you would have probably already met them in real life. Spirit would make it work. Even though you think, okay, they're this famous person, I'm not. Trust me, Spirit would have made it work. I can guarantee you that 100%. You either already have met them or you would meet them very soon, and it would be extremely divinely guided. It would be guided and they would recognize you too. They would treat you different. They would look at you different. They would talk at you different. It would be different than compared to their other fans. If they look the same way at any other fan, then sorry, it's not real. They would notice that you are special as well, and they would react, and you would notice their reaction. A fated connection would do something to them as well. So just having this kind of stuff in your chart does not mean that this person is your divine counterpart, because again, fate can be they enhance your life through their art or just because you really resonate with them. Okay, so that is it for today, and yeah, if this helped you, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and check out my other stuff. And also please check out my coaching, talking about manifesting and different kind of soul connections. I see you there. Bye bye.